But it sure made it hurt a lot.
Throw something else, see what happens.
You gotta do it.
Are we ready?
I need you to do that in the microphone one more.
In 3, 2, 1, and welcome to Midwest Mayhem. I am Tron Smith. He is Chad Christensen. I gotta say your name for you.
I like saying my name.
No, but the last time it was like you were having issues with your own name.
That's because I hit a note that only dogs could hear.
I thought maybe your Wi-Fi was going out. You know, it's like old dial-up. You know, I thought you were getting one of those moments. I wasn't sure. You know, you remember those days.
I actually, yes.
Okay. So the one thing I've been told, and I'm telling you, I have been harassed since the last podcast. I want you to know that about everything. Stay on task. And Danny Wilson came here and was
Kind
like,
of a scary moment.
well, dude, he goes, I need to come. I'm going to get him on this show, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to stand up for himself. But I'm staying on track. I'm getting look. Oh, okay. Every time you see something fly in, that's because I've jumped off where I need to be. Things right now.
Every time you get off topic, I'm throwing it at you. I'm serious.
Why?
Why? Okay, out here. There you can have that back. We get right back on task here.
Well,
okay?
welcome everyone.
And before I forget, right, there's some very important information that we need to put out there. And I'm telling you, man, I want to make sure we don't forget this every week. But I have to take time to thank Wilson Toyota, Denny and Danny Wilson, for sponsoring this podcast. It has been awesome. They have been just great support. And not just with the things that we're doing, but, you know, giving us the time, giving us the space.
That's what I was just
the
going to say.
equipment. I mean, it's been awesome. So I really appreciate them doing that. And hey, I'll tell you, if you're looking for a vehicle or if you're just looking for information, feel free. Reach out to us. Stop in the store, 2212 South Duff Avenue, just a short drive from anywhere in the metro, or feel free to go to wilsonofames.com and check out the website. All inventory, everything's there, things like that. And I'm gonna tell you,
We have inventory.
dude, let me tell you what we have. Social media. I won't get into that. But anyway, if you want to reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter, make sure you're hitting us at Wilson of Ames. And for all you Facebook and TikTok people, we also have a presence there. And we are at Wilson Toyota of Ames. Make sure you do that. And hey, man, if you really want to know what's getting down, what to get down, you can definitely just reach out to me on Twitter. At Big Strong, 2 G's when you're as big as I am. And at Big Strong 1 if you want to reach out to me. On the Insta chat. So we want to do that. Right? So here's the thing, man. We got a lot of content we got to get into.
Today's a big day.
Right? And I was telling you earlier, we were kind of having this conversation. I said, we need to get to it. All right? Because we only got so much time, and I got people over here threatening to throw things at me, which I think is assault, by the way. And I think I can. Oh, see?
I didn't know this was going to happen.
You know what? We got to get
I'm
into
glad
the
she's throwing at you, though.
But here, before we get into the content, right, what everybody came to listen to, I got some really good things we want to talk about, how the car dealership should be, and we're going to talk about it from a lot of different levels. But before we do that, I want to make sure that I want to share something with folks and with everyone about Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's important that you know the kind of dealership that you work with and that you buy from and things like that.
Who they are.
And without anyone's idea, you know, Denny and Danny had the idea this year to have all of us in the dealership sit down for a Thanksgiving dinner. And I've been here, like I said, almost 19 years. Nothing that we've ever done, not that we wouldn't have.
Right.
But this was their idea, and I think it's a great idea. You know, I got some information about just kind of writing a little bit about what I'm thankful for. I just thought that was a good idea. So if you ever question the type of people that you would be working with or buying a car from, those are the type of people we work. So again, appreciate them doing that. That's going to be awesome.
And sometimes it's nice to sit back and be thankful and actually express it to everyone around you as well. And being in this environment, it's pretty easy to do.
Man, I tell you, it's going to be fun. We always have fun when we all get together, so I really appreciate them bringing up that idea. And we're going to do that. I don't think I'm cooking, which is really good. I can throw down. I can throw down, dude. Don't get me wrong now. Don't.
Isn't McDonald's like a block away from your house, so just in case?
Dollar menu. And you listen, if you I see a pin, you're gonna get hit, Chad. You better stop. Okay, whoa, that might have hit you in the head.
That wasn't a pen. It's not.
There you go. You're gonna have lead poisoning. Oh, but here's what we want to talk about today, and it's just some great content that we talked about. And a lot of people have kind of reached out to me and they said, hey, when I go into my local dealership, what are some of the things I should expect? You know, just how the car business is in general. So what I did was I just kind of written down some things from a consumer standpoint. We're going to talk about that. What the consumer should expect.
Yes.
How a car business should be when they go in.
Right.
I also have some information for the salespeople. What should your sales managers be doing for you? What should you expect? How should the owners treat you? Things like that. And then we want to touch base with the sales managers as well.
I like
you know, how is it from an ownership? What should you expect from your owners?
Right.
In the real world. I like to think that I work for the perfect dealership. So I'm going to share some of these things that we do. I also want to address the owners about what you should and could expect from the manufacturer standpoint, from your regional reps and things like that. So we're going to try to address all this information in a small amount of time.
We need to go.
Well, the clock is like right there, and I keep getting the clock shown to me, and it's like, get done, right? And I'm telling you, the next time I get hit with something, I'm going to leave the screen. I'm going to leave the screen. It's going to be some screaming and some yelling.
Oh my.
Right? And then I'm going to come back on the screen.
I'll just start talking until you come back.
All right. All right. So let's talk about this first. Let's start with the most important part of this entire. How should it be? Let's start with the consumer. Okay. What should the consumer expect when they come into any car dealership? Right. I'm going to express to you the things I'm going to share today.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you what it's going to be like when you come into this car dealership.
Okay.
Right. And every other car dealership should follow suit. Okay. The first thing I'm going to tell you, and we kind of touched it before, you should always feel welcome.
We did talk about that already, yeah.
You should never walk in a place and feel like people aren't glad that you're there and they're not excited about you being there and they don't want to help, right?
Right.
When you walk in, people should address you and know that they're there to help you.
That's right.
Okay?
I wrote down warming. Have a warming feeling when you walk in.
100%, right? If you don't feel welcome, you're probably not going to come back anyway. So we want to make sure we do that. Everybody should say hello to you. You should never walk past people that work there without them trying to get you in the right spot, things like that.
Right.
The other thing you should expect is you should expect the staff at that car dealership to be knowledgeable, right? They should understand their products. If you're going to a Toyota dealership, they should know their Toyota
Absolutely.
products for sure. They should know a lot about their used car products. Now, I'm going to be fair here. There's going to be some used cars out there, if they're Toyota people and they're Toyota through and through, or whoever they are. They're not going to know a lot about Chevys or Fords. Unless they've been there a while, then they're just kind of used to the car business. But they should be knowledgeable about the product. And they should be knowledgeable about the process, right? What am I going to go through? Right? How do I get the consumer from this part to the next part? You shouldn't have to ask questions. There should be a real even flow when it comes to that, right? They should have guidance. Now this is where it gets a little iffy, right? Nobody likes to be told what to do. But I always put it like this. It's like a haunted house, right? You go into a haunted house, you don't really know where you're going, and they got little directions, little arrows. They're guiding you through the process because they've been there before.
Right.
These guys should be able to give you guidance, and they should give you the correct information. Right? So many times you go into car dealerships and you get the wrong information, right? You got salespeople that they don't know, so they just throw something out there, right? You want to make sure that the dealership you're at, they're giving you the correct information, right? And they know what they're talking about.
Yep.
Okay? You should make sure you have that.
When you said that, though, I actually was going back and when you said that earlier, I wrote down for the customer. If the customer comes in and they're open as well, as far as what they're looking for, why they're looking for it, right? It makes it a lot easier for us on our end to get them in the perfect car.
Don't get me started, Chad.
I'm just saying.
Don't get me started, Chad.
Two-way street.
You know? And I agree with you. I think the consumer should somewhat know, but I agree to disagree with that.
I love it.
I think we're professionals. It's like me going to my doctor and I don't feel well. I don't really know what's going on, and I expect the professional to be able to guide me and tell me what that is. So I think when you come into a car dealership, I don't expect the consumer to exactly know. I want them to have an idea. You know, I want them to know what they need.
Right. And that's where I was going with
Gotcha.
it. When they're coming in here, they're not going to the grocery store, right? They're coming in here looking for some kind of a vehicle. And as long as they're open to having the conversations about their wants and needs, let us as the professionals guide them down that road and take care of
Oh,
the
we're
rest.
going to talk about that. You know what? I'm going to be nice to you today.
I
Anyway,
like it.
the other thing I'm going to take is they should be transparent. And this is where I think a lot of auto dealers get in trouble. This is where they get in trouble. They don't want to be transparent. For some weird reason, they feel like they have to sometimes hide things or maybe not tell all the truth.
Right.
You know, I always like to say, are you telling the truth or are you just fabricating the truth, right? There's two different things. So we want to make sure. They want to be as transparent. And when I think about transparency, you know, it's kind of a great thing. Toyota has come out with a new product, and when you come into Wilson Toyota, we have what's called SmartPath.
Right.
And what SmartPath is just a great idea that Toyota came up with years ago that allows the consumer to have everything that we have. They have access to everything that we have. Down payments, interest rates, VSAs, anything, you name it, all the scary stuff that we talk about.
In their hands.
Right on an iPad, they can do everything. They have everything in control. SmartPath is it's the best thing. You want
to talk transparency? How what? It's like sliced bread.
It's extremely transparent, and they should be, every automaker. And if they don't have SmartPath, if they're not there yet, and if you're a Toyota dealer and you don't have SmartPath, man, you really need to be getting on the phone with your regional rep or whoever you know in the big leagues, and you need to tell them, man, I want to hear more about the SmartPath thing. And if you have any questions, man, reach out to Chad. Right?
You want to make it easy for the customer. You want to make it easy on yourself. SmartPath's the way to go.
Oh, 100%. If you're not bought in yet, call me. I'll sell you on it, right? They need to be time sensitive, right? Understand consumers. When you go into a dealership, that salesperson, they should understand that your time is important, right? It should be time sensitive. Not that I want them to rush you through, right? But I want them to understand you don't want to be there all day.
No one wants to be in a car dealership all day.
Well, I mean, some people, I do. I'm in a car.
You are here all day.
Right? You should be engaged. It should be engaging when you go into. It should be a two-way street, right? They should be asking questions, and they should be giving you information, right? It should definitely be. And the number one thing, the last thing I have on my list that I want to share with the consumer is the car dealership that you do business with. They should care. And when I say they should care, what I mean is everything that you are going to experience in that car should be important to the dealership, right? If you have children, if you're driving to work, are you on gravel roads? Do you drive long ways? Do you drive short ways? They should actually care about how you're going to use that vehicle and why you need it, right? That's what I think we miss. A lot of people say, well, I want to hear about them. I actually want to hear about the consumer because I care, and I think that information will allow me to put them in the best vehicle going forward. So care. Remember, hey, if they don't care about you, it's going to be hard for them to take care of you. So we want to do that. So again, just a little something from the consumers. You want to talk about going there. You should feel good about it. Be comfortable.
Right.
The staff should be knowledgeable. They should understand their products, their process. They should guide you through it, give you the correct information. Be as transparent as possible, right?
Take your words.
Time sensitive. Be engaging with what's going on, and they should absolutely care about what you need, what you want, how you're going to do it, how you're going to pay for it.
Right.
That should be, if you have all that in a dealership, then you're at the right dealership. You should take the time to purchase a car from those people. Whew, man,
That was a lot.
information.
That was a lot.
You ain't heard nothing.
Hey, but I did want to say one thing because I think this is my background coming from the food business. As a consumer, when you walk through a door, you can tell the establishment by, is it clean? Does it look good? Is it bright, right? How are the people's attitudes? The little things that are nonverbal that are around you can make a huge difference. And I think if your dealership looks that way and people act that way, it's better for the consumer.
Hold on, man, food guy. This ain't off tax. This is on tax. I'm telling you right now. But usually when I travel, some of the weirdest, dirtiest looking places has the best food. I'm just telling you right now.
They do, but as long as the restroom's clean, everything else is good. If you go in and the restroom's not clean, get out.
How do we get there?
I'm telling you.
I should throw my pen at you.
I'm just telling you.
But whatever, man. You're the food guy, so I'm not going to question it because you know better about that than I do. So I'm going to let that go. So let's move right along to the salesperson.
Yes.
Right? Let's talk to the salespeople. I want to share with you what you should expect from your dealership, from your sales manager, things like that, and what should be most important to you as if you're looking to get a job or go to a different spot and be on the job, things like this. First of all, go to a dealership where you are trained on a consistent basis.
I'll cross that one out.
Okay.
Got it.
When you come into our store, I spend, you spend, Josh spends, Steve, we spend probably the first 3 months just getting you used to what Wilson Toyota is, right?
That's
we
right.
talk about the Wilson experience. We train our salespeople on what that experience is, right? Then we start training that actual salesperson on the process.
All in the process.
Right?
That is correct.
How do you get from A to Z? We train them on that. Make sure that when you go to a dealership, you should expect that from your dealership, that they're willing to train you on the process and consistently train you as things change. Because you know what? As the world turns, so do the automotive industry. So we want to make sure that the salespeople are trained. We train every day.
We do. We do.
Every day on that. On the process, on your procedures. Salespeople, when you go into, if you work for a dealership right now and you don't know what the procedures are, where you should be, how you do this, time, things like that. You need to make sure that you get with whoever's in charge there, and they're telling you right up front what the procedures are, and going through whatever you got to do in that. And then products. Oh,
Here we go.
right?
Yep. We just talked about this last week.
What sets the price? the value. If you don't understand the product, you can never talk about the value in it.
There is
so
no
the price
value.
can be anything,
That's
right?
right.
So we want to make sure that the dealership you're at, if you've been at a dealership right now and you're new and you've been there 6 months and you haven't spent one-on-one time being trained by whether that be a trainer in your store or a sales manager or the GM or the owner, I don't care who it is, then man, you really need to take time, take a deep think and say, man, there's dealerships out there that actually train me on a consistent basis.
That's right.
We're one of
Well,
those
the other thing
dealerships.
I wrote down on that too, having other salespeople around you that actually care about you and your success.
Oh, we're
on
going
the
to
same
get
level.
whoa.
I'm just saying.
Hey, we're about to argue.
I'm on sales.
We're about to argue, right? I'm on sales. We're about to argue about that. But just, hey, pump your brakes a little bit, right? Let the ABS kick in, right? So the other thing I'm going to tell you is this, right? Salespeople, you should know what the dealership, the sales management team, the leadership team expects from you right out of the chute, right up front. They should tell you what your expectations are. Do they expect you to sell 8 cars a month? Do they expect you to sell 12? Do they expect you, all their expectations, they should share with you right up front so you know exactly what you're getting into. They should be able to tell you what you should expect to make, right?
Absolutely.
All those things are up there. Salespeople, you should make sure that the dealership, you know exactly what's
I like it.
Right? The other thing, I'm about to get in trouble, but I don't care. I'm probably bigger than most. The dealership you work for should treat you like a professional adult. Okay? What do I mean by that? They should treat you like a professional adult. And what I mean by
Let's
that,
keep crossing
unless your sales manager is your mom or dad, your sales manager should never yell at you. They should never put you down. They should never belittle you. They should always be pushing you forward. And if that's not the case, if you have people, and say whatever you want out there, okay? If you have a sales manager or a leader above you that yells at you and does that,
Right.
Listen, pack your stuff up, get out of that store, go find your store,
Yeah, be
because
done.
I'm going to tell you this, I don't yell at my salespeople. I don't belittle them. I encourage them all the time. We
Right.
have fun, and I
Right.
want them to be as successful as possible.
Right.
And if that's not what your team is doing, dude, you need to find a different team.
You need to go
Right?
somewhere where you have somebody that backs you.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, Chick-fil-A is they're hiring, right? And it's always their pleasure. So make sure. Sorry, but you keep that in mind. They should never be yelling at you, things like that, putting you down. They really should
Right.
encourage you.
I'm gonna cross this one off because you just addressed it. I actually put for sales as well, as far as on our level, as far as the dealership, having integrity. Go to some place that has integrity.
Yeah.
That goes right back to that trustworthiness and all the things you've already talked about. But I think integrity is a big deal. Part of the reason I came here. I knew when I left what the store was about. Period.
It's important, right? You understand this. You are going to represent that organization, but make sure that you're okay with that organization representing you.
That's exactly right.
When they leave, you want to know. Oh, we must be boring. Somebody yawning over there. Something that's
Wow.
okay, right?
Throw a pen at it.
Okay, here comes the pin. Sure. All right. Ouch. Man, they could have hit me in the eye, right? I could have died from that one. Anyway, all right. So I'm trying to move along here. I can't keep.
Hey, are you still on sales? Because I got
I'm still on sales. I'm still on sales. Don't get me wrong. I'm
I'll
not.
keep crossing that.
Okay. You said something to me earlier about people around you. Okay,
Correct.
salespeople.
Okay.
Now he's a salesperson. I'm the
I
sales
am.
manager. I'm about to direct you, and you write this down, and don't ever forget this. Okay? There's only so many people in your dealership that are affected positively from your success. What do I mean by that? That means that your sales managers and your owners, they're affected by how successful you are directly. And any information that they give you, they're giving you to
I
get
know
you in the
where
right
you're going.
direction, to make sure
Right.
that you're successful. I'm not saying that salespeople are bad.
No,
right?
I know where you're going.
I'm not saying all salespeople are good, right?
That's
What I'm
right.
saying to you is that there are some salespeople that have a different thought process.
I agree.
And they're not happy that some young
I agree.
gun has just come in.
Yep.
But just always understand, you can always lean on the sales manager and knowing that any information he's giving you because the more you make, the more he makes.
That's right.
Right? So just keep that. There's only so many people in your organization that benefit directly from you being successful, and there's probably only 4 or 5 people in there. Again, not discouraging you from getting close to salespeople. I'm just telling you, at the end of the day, if you really want to know the truth, you better be finding your sales managers.
Agreed. But what I was simply saying was, no matter what dealership you're at as a salesperson, find those around you that you can trust and have your back like you have theirs.
100%. And you know what? It's going to be salespeople. There's going to be sales. We got some great staff. I mean, I'm looking at one right here. I got some guys. I mean, we really do. We have great staff, and our staff. We hire on culture. So I'm going to make sure that everybody I hire has the same thing. And when we hire someone new, they feel like part of the family day one. They don't have to work to feel like they're part of the family. So I agree that it is
Yes.
important. The last thing that I'm going to tell salespeople before we get off the salesperson.
Go.
Okay. 100% of the consumers that you will talk to will buy a car. Okay, I'm telling you that you are working on a 100% rate, and everybody that you talk to on the phone, you see in person, you email, you text, whatever the case may be, you have to know right now as a salesperson that 100% of those people are going to buy a car. Now, 100% of those people are going to buy a car may not mean that day. They're going to buy a car sometime, somewhere, from someone.
That's
and
right.
you just got to understand that everybody you come in contact with eventually buys. And as a salesperson, you got to embed that in your head and understand that if I don't sell them on Monday, man, I'm going to have to call them on Tuesday, and I'm going to have to call them on Wednesday, and maybe I have to email them on Friday. But I got to stay in front of them, because one thing I know is 100% they're going to buy a car from some point, and I want them to buy a car from me as a salesperson, from my store, and from my area. So just kind of keep that in mind. Man, you 100%, right? You back down 100%, buddy.
So I'm gonna cross that one out too.
Yeah, cross it out.
But customer first and everything else takes care of itself.
100%, right? We take care of our customers and do that. So I'm looking at my time, looking at my clock here, right?
Here we
Let's talk
go.
to the sales managers.
Yes, I'm ready.
Right? Just real quick. Sales managers, you out there. First thing I'm gonna tell you is this: make sure you're working for the right owner. Okay?
Oh,
Rubbing
that
people
you-
the wrong
that
way
you
now,
know.
right? Make sure that you're working for the right owner. Okay? Make sure that as a sales manager, you are pouring into your staff. Okay?
That's
Every
what I
day. Every day that I drive in, I'm thinking to myself, man, how can I make my staff better? How can we become more successful? What can I do? Not what can they do.
Right.
I want to control the controllables. What can I do to make sure that everything that we do today is moving us forward? Right? As a sales manager, that should be your thought. When you're driving into work, turn off your Luke Bryan, turn off Luke Combs, turn all those guys off, right? Turn off Tupac, Biggie Smalls. Just show up and think about it. Just take that time driving and think to yourself, man, how can I make my staff more successful? Pour into your guys every single day, right? Work to make the people around you better.
And I like that you said that, because what I wrote from my standpoint of being a salesperson is there's a difference between a manager and a leader. A great manager knows how to lead his people. That's what I wrote.
I read something one time and said, you know what? I'm not worried about a group of lions led by a sheep. I'm worried about a group of sheep led by a lion.
Yes.
And that's my thought process. I don't care who I'm leading. I want to make sure that I'm leading the right way and I'm pouring into everybody that's in front of me. So just make it like sales managers, make sure that every day you're pouring into, work hard to make the people around you better. Just understand the better they are, the better you are, right? It's just, it's a team effort. The other thing I'm going to tell you is this, sales managers, and if I'm lying, I'm flying, okay? You're the witness here. I'm going to teach the great ones to actually take my job, okay? When I get young people in and they have these great ideas, I never shy away from their ideas. I want them to, I want to make sure that they have great ideas, and I want to teach them to take my job, because I'm not always going to do the job.
And what about the old people? Can the old people do it too?
I didn't say old. No, I was just talking about people in general. Just make sure that you teach the great ones to take your job. Right?
Correct.
Don't try to get me into that. I'm gonna have people calling me, and saying that I'm talking about you. Right? Just other things, sales managers. The owners should always encourage you to share your ideas, right? Your owners should always ask you, man, what are you thinking? How do you feel? They should be open, and they should be like really trying to get your vision out of you as a sales manager, right? Your owner should really always encourage you to do, share your thoughts, share your visions, share your directions. What's your idea? If you got great owners and you work for the right people, they're going to do that on a consistent basis, right? So these are the things as a sales manager you should expect from your owner, right? The other thing I'm going to tell you is this.
I probably didn't have this one written down.
This is going to get. It's going to get a little dicey, but I'm going to clean it up, right?
Here we go.
Your owner should always look to compensate you.
Oh, you are going down the road, aren't you?
No matter what happens. Now, I'm going to pat my owner on the back, okay?
Okay.
There's not a month, there's not a day, there's not an hour that Danny doesn't come to me and Josh and Steve and say, hey man, I appreciate this and I appreciate that. And it's just us doing our job, but it means something to me that I'm going to give you 100%.
Right.
100. Danny Wilson can't pay me to work harder. Right? He can't lay a bonus in front of me and say, hey, if you work harder, this is what I'm going to give you. Because I'm going to look at him and say, I'm already giving you everything I got. I ain't got nothing else.
That's right.
And your owner should just compensate you for being who you are. And the more he does that for me, the more I want to do for him. So just keep that in mind. If your owners aren't figuring out ways to pay you more, if your GM isn't figuring out a way to pay you more just for being great and doing the right things, then man, I'm gonna tell you, there's owners out there at car dealerships that will do that. I can vouch for my owner. My owner does it on a consistent basis. Every single month, every single week, every single day, he finds a way to compensate me for what I'm doing. So expect that from your owners as well. Now, everybody's not as good as my owners. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yep.
Right? But I'm telling you, sales managers, if it's not like that, I'm telling you that I don't care what your owner is saying. There's dealerships that are out there that are like that. I work for one, right? And you should. And it's okay that you expect
Absolutely.
that. Sales managers, that's what you should. You should.
So I'm gonna
expect.
cross that one out too, because I wrote down from the top down, baby.
Right?
From the top down.
And the last thing I'm gonna share with you, sales managers, man, you should always be on exhaust mode for success, right? You should always just be 100 miles an hour, 100% of what you're doing, pouring into the guys around you, pouring into things. Your owner should be pouring into you. And you know what, man? Here's a great thing.
I know you can't read that.
That's not even. That's
So you
kind
know
of
what I
horrific,
just said?
so
I said what you just said, but in different terminology. Walk the walk.
I can't read that
Walk
stuff.
the walk.
Right?
Top down, walk the walk.
What?
Don't talk, walk the walk.
That sounds like a rap song. Okay, so just understand, we should always be on exhaust, for success, and that's just what we do. Just strive every day to be great, and show up every day. And you know what, sales managers, that's something you should expect from the leadership above you. And I'm just gonna tell you, man, there's some great owners out there. It's not, Danny, I've just been blessed to find really, really good owners. But I work for another group, over at Beardmore. I work for Kerry and Brian Beardmore. They were great owners as well.
Right.
They just weren't as present as Danny and Danny are, and I really appreciate that being here. So just keep that in mind, sales managers. That's a few things for you that you should share, and I'm going to go right into owners because I only got so much time.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk to owners real quick. All right. Look, what do you know about owners? Man, Danny and I talk a lot. It's just one of those things, right? When you got a good relationship, you hear a lot of things, and it's just the respect is mutual. So owners. Every owner you have a manufacturer, there's certain things you should expect from your regional reps, right? I'm gonna pat my regional rep on the back. Okay, she does a unbelievable job. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to, I don't know if you should be doing that stuff.
Right.
She does an unbelievable job, and every time I email her, she gets right back to me.
Right.
Sometimes I think she's thinking that I'm thinking something, and she'll email me, she'll email Josh, she'll email Danny.
Yep.
And from our region does an unbelievable job. I mean, Adam over there, I'm saying names. I don't care. What are they going to be?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Allison, our rep, is unbelievable. Adam over there it's just a great. Our region, they come in for training. They call.
They are
present. Ryan calls me all
Yep.
the time. Brett, those guys are like, dude, can I come in and train you?
Yep.
Sterling. We had Sterling and Will here for about a week. Right, they showed up every day in training. That's what you should expect as owners from your region. They should be really reaching out, trying to find a way to make you better. Again,
I was
goes
just
back to
going to
making
that.
you
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
From a manufacturer standpoint, I don't have enough time to tell you who Toyota is. They're just
Right.
that. They're just those people. They do it right. They're always in front of you. They give you everything you need to be successful. Man, they call you and say, hey, I got this crazy thing called SmartPath. You want to do it? Let's do it. Let's try it. Boom. We do it. We got it. So those are things you want to do that. And then we're going to get into all this because I'm getting my clock, right? I got the clock, right? But I just want to say this one last thing from an owner standpoint. Make sure that we hold our aftermarket people accountable, right? And I mean all kinds of aftermarkets, whether that mean materials, whether that mean products, whether that mean warranties, things like that. When they say it's going to do something as an owner, you should hold them accountable and make sure that it does it, right? Those are the things that we got to do. Man, I could have stayed on this topic. Each topic could have been its own.
It could have been its own
podcast.
It
so
really could.
I just kind of crammed it all in there, right? And there's so much more content. I appreciate all of you people for tuning in. I mean, I appreciate you, Chad, for showing up. And I'm telling you, you want to watch what we do, right?
Oh, of course.
Inside look at Wilson Toyota, right? Instagram and Twitter is at Wilson of Ames. Make sure you go to Facebook and TikTok at
Check
Wilson
us
of Ames,
out.
Toyota of Ames. Wilson Toyota, stop in 2212 South Duff Avenue, just a short drive from anywhere in the metro, right here in Ames, Iowa. Thank you guys again for tuning in. This is Midwest Mayhem. And it's been a blast. Hey, come back next week. Come back next week. You hear what I'm saying?